Hey guys, welcome back to the office. I know. So let's see if we got any mail. Do we do that here? How do we do that? No, not there. No, that's what I did before, wasn't it? Messages. There we go. Okay. Right. That the new one? No. Ah, there we go. Evan Dean, researching something. Hey there, buddy pal. What's that you've got your... what's that they've got you researching over there? Wait, what's that they've got you researching over there? That doesn't make any sense, right? What's that they've got you researching over there? Sure. Hush hush, top secret? Good for you. You Abstergo prodigy, you. At least they trust someone. Glad it's you. Yeah, not sure who you are, Evan Dean, but okay. So, where are we going? Anybody taking a break? Anybody want to be hacked? Maybe? I still don't think we can get in there yet, though, can we? No. You still working? Yeah, job's with. What about over here? Nope. You? Yeah. Is that what we're like? Geordie LaForge? Is that his name? The guy with the dodgy looking eye mask thing in Star Trek? I'm not sure that's worth the pay grade. Our desk, right? We got it? Yeah, we got quite a few more. Okay, get in there. Alright, well, let's just go and find what's her face. And we'll see what's...
Over here!
Oh, yeah,
are you
there you
ready?
are.
He's waiting for us.
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah. Where do we need to go? Who are we going to see? Oh yeah, right. CCM. That's what the exclamation mark means.
I just watched some of your footage from this week. It's amazing. Blackbeard
Oh, thank you.
mental. And we all got so excited that we started talking about this idea for a trailer about him. Maybe start with him drinking, talking to some pirates, telling a story.
Yeah, I'm not... You know... I'm not sure about that yet. We're going to have to see what ridiculous stuff he's up to first.
Cut to him leaping across the deck of his boat and... Sorry, his ship, not boat. But jumping around the deck of his ship, swinging from ropes and fighting like a devil.
Melanie, he's 50. He ain't leaping across anywhere.
I'm getting a shiver in my timbers just thinking about it.
That's not what that means. Yeah, God. Bloody interns. Anyway.
Bonjour, ça va? I hope we're not late.
No, you can go right.
Hi, Melanie. I saw you just walked in. I need a few minutes with you alone. Laetitia is on the phone and we're discussing the Kenway project.
Oh, yes, of course.
Use Laetitia.
Sorry about this. I'll call you when we're ready.
Oh, what? Yeah, just wait around here, shall I?
Shouldn't be long.
God. Oh.
Hello? Do you have a second?
Funnily enough, yes I
Back to
do.
the waypoint on your map. I have another job for you. I'd like to link all the cameras in the building to a central monitoring system, but most aren't calibrated correctly.
Don't mind me.
And if the receptionist complains, act like you're using the toilets.
Uh-huh. Alright, this is a computer guy again now. That, I can't get in there.
Another locked door. Not a problem.
Oh.
Voila. You now have level 2 security clearance.
Yeah, so
Not
why...
bad for your first few weeks. Find the camera control station first.
So why can't you do this if you have all this clearance?
Take your communicator.
Yeah, but, you know, what's down here? Oh, is that where we're actually... Are we supposed to go this way? No, we're supposed to be in that room, right? Yeah, okay. So, what's going on down here? I want some more of those sticky notes. Whoa. Okay, well, there's not much down here. Alright, we're going to your stupid room. Desmond Miles. You know, I think that might be one of the characters from the previous games. Like, you know, one of the real world characters, I mean.
Interesting security measure. It looks like you need to find the right combination of numbers to adjust the wave. Easy enough, right? Pick a number selector, then change its value. Once you find the right combination of numbers, you should get access.
Huh, okay. So... Right, okay, so left stick moves us like that, and then right stick moves us like this. So I think we probably want that one. That looks good. Well, for the I'm just looking at the beginning here. That also looks good. Huh, there we go. Okay.
It works.
And if we want Ishan on
Huh.
assassins or Templars or the observatory or whatever the fuck else interests us, Olivier, you will deliver it. Full stop.
Uh-huh.
I understand that, Leticia. I'm sorry if that came out wrong. We are not trying to be a bottleneck here, but we just don't have the resources right now to do 2 times the research.
Finding that balance is your priority. Your entertainment products are simply a means to pay the bills for larger and more important work. That's the way the world works. Dirty money buys clean hospitals. You get it?
We're on board, Letitia, rest assured. We have our best employee working on this, but it will take time.
That means you.
Good. And thank you. The both of you. I look forward to seeing what you deliver. Until then, I'll see you at the shareholders meeting, Olivier.
Looking forward to it. Bye-bye. Tabarnak! It's a little too early for that kind of abuse, huh? Come on.
So, what's next?
We do as the lady said. Focus on the observatory.
Assassins, Templars, crazy talk. I'm curious about this shareholders meeting, though. How about you break into Olivier's office and see if you can find his schedule? Oh, what? You don't like that idea? Well, how about I blow the fucking whistle on you, hacker? I own you.
Yeah.
What I mean is, I don't want to ruin your life. So, do as I say. Now, step over to the window.
Yeah, so where's your office again? Maybe we drop and say hello a couple of times. What, are you a window cleaner now? Oh boy.
Can't waltz into Olivier's office through the front door, so I've opened another route. Up we go. Did you know that Abstergo was run by Templars? Oh, yeah. Sounds like crackpot stuff, I know. But then again, the moon landing was fake, right? So anything's possible. All right. Either you walk through that door or throw yourself off the terrace. Those are your
Okay.
options.
Oh, right. Can't do that.
Oh, well done, kiddo. Find his computer. Make it snappy. We're looking for the shareholders meeting. It's worth a lot of money to us.
Yeah. I don't know if because we looked around quite a lot of this earlier, right? Like quite a long time ago. I hope like some of those sticky notes don't appear at different times. I hope they're already all preset. What does this say? Likewise, if you have an eye for fashion and oh. Can we see that again? Sturgo Entertainment stock jumps on room new projects. The company remains mum on what they are producing. If anything, commenting only, no comment. But sources close to the company confirm that they are, in fact, working on something. Devils of the Caribbean. I bet you wish you got there first, huh? Unlucky Ubisoft. Internal focus group testing for pirate grooming will begin soon in order to identify the most appealing aspects of authentic pirate style. If you are willing to pose as a beard and hair model, please contact your manager and learn how to participate. Likewise, if you have an eye for fashion and an appreciation of men's style and wish to participate in the focus group, see your manager for details. Yeah, okay. Right. So, where's your computer? Alright, let's get involved here. What are we doing this time?
Now. As the data moves, there are security programs constantly monitoring the data flow. You need to see past them, or they will destroy your data and send it back home.
Okay. So we do it like that. Okay. Oh boy, oh boy. Can I do it now? Alright, we got there. Okay, to Melanie LeMay, Karma Neron, Chloe Lesney, Christopher Darby, Evan Dean, from Olivier Garneau. 6 November 2013, 9:46. Salut! As most of you know, I'll be attending the Chicago shareholders meeting from the 15th to the 17th, and they'll want to see our progress with the Kenway line. The small amount of data we have already gathered is incredible, and we anticipate even more amazing finds in the near future. The events and people we have seen so far make us confident that the complete experience will be one of the most eye-opening explorations of piracy ever seen. It will take quite a bit of work to scrub the data of objectionable and classified material, but we already have some incredibly promising footage. At the same time, Abstergo Entertainment will soon be announcing a closed beta for our new consumer cloud interface app, sexy name forthcoming. Edward Kenway's virtual pirate experience will be the first complete product on offer and the first of its kind anywhere, an immersive, interactive pirate experience drawn from actual historical data. Internal tests of our customer cloud app have been encouraging, and we anticipate it will be ready in time for the next holiday season if everything goes according to plan. So this leads us to a broader question. What other experiences will we like to offer? What other historical periods and locations can we explore? Judging by our current rate of data retrieval, our capacity to produce, and our understanding of consumption trends, executives at Abstergo Industries have given me the goal of producing one complete virtual experience per annum. In addition to smaller offerings, as our research allows, this includes books, recordings, films, and any other transmedia offerings. You really did believe that back in 2013, didn't you, Ubisoft? So, a second related question is this: does Sample 17 contain compelling data to sustain our current commitment to it, or should we make a request to Abstergo Industries for additional archived data? Remember that data from Sample 1 proved fruitful enough to create our Liberation product. It is very likely that research into Samples 2 through 16 will bear surprising fruits as well. Thoughts? Olivier Garneau, Chief Creative Officer, Abstergo Entertainment. Wow, it's quite a lot here. 6 November 99. Is this later or after? This is okay. So this is chronological. Okay. So to everyone else from Menely, hello all. Thanks for opening the discussion, Olivier. Just a brief heads up with where we stand now. I've been the Sample 17 project director for just over a year now, and my team and I have been able to cobble together a rough list of the most interesting time periods available to us through this single genetic sample. Remember, this is data that has already been fully or partially sequenced by Abstergo Industries. I'll try to be brief. Patrilineal lines, so through the fathers, 15th century Italian Renaissance, 16th century Ottoman Empire, 18th century American colonies war for independence, 19th century New England and American Midwest. Matrilineal line through the mothers, 12th century Holy Land Crusades, 13th century Egypt and Northern Africa, 14th century Ashikaga Shogunate in Japan. 18th century French Revolution. 19th century Napoleonic Wars, Taiwan. 20th century Summer of Love, American Pacific Coast. Obviously, this is just a small sample of the potential options. The number of ancestors any one person has is well above 30,000 after just 15 generations, so there could be many more surprises waiting for us with Sample 17. However, despite Sample 17's rich heritage, we should not limit ourselves to this alone if we have concrete leads elsewhere. For instance, quite a few men from all sides of my family fought in both world wars, and I even have a great-great-grandfather who fought in the American Civil War. Managed to meet President Lincoln a few times too. Going this route is a little more costly and time-consuming since the data has not already been sequenced, but it could be rewarding in the long run. In short, if anyone has any confirmed connections to interesting historical events, periods, or cities, or knows of people who do, please share. I will be reviewing the past 3 decades of samples collected and sequenced by Abstergo Industries. I recently learned that one of their samples, number 2 I believe, participated in the trial of Jeanne d'Arc. So there's a nice lead right here. That's Joan of Arc, right? Well, yeah, there we go. So I guess that's Joan of Arc on the stake there. Yeah, okay. So a little precursor to Origins, I guess. So back from Olivier. All good points, Mel. A word of caution though, sample 2 comes from the late Dr. Warren Vidic himself, collected at some point in the early 80s when he was a young engineer working at Abstergo Industries. So, as tempting as a Jeanne d'Arc experience sounds, I'm not sure Abstergo Industries would be too keen on letting us rummage around in Dr. Vidic's DNA. It's just a sensitive topic. For my own part, I'm related to François-Xavier Garneau, noted Quebecois historian and poet. Exciting, right? Possible lead. Winky face. One additional caveat, let's avoid digging into any modern periods, i.e. 20th century, unless we find something incredibly compelling, because as fun as a World War II setting might sound, we do well to avoid any settings with vehicles, cars, motorcycles, helicopters, tanks, etc. Why, you may ask? Because our research has shown that memory imprinting in individuals is actually hampered by the semi-catatonic state most people enter when driving for medium and long periods of time. And this makes data retrieval somewhat more difficult. In short, we don't want to go through the effort of coding extra Animus features just for the sake of digging up memories of people driving around in cars. There are other and more efficient ways to experience that. Yeah, this is kind of fourth wall stuff again, isn't it? So, from Chloe Leslie now. Olivier. Haha. Quebec City is beautiful, but without pirates, ninjas, or zombies. I'm not sure how well a story about a historian would sell. Smiley face. Also, keep in mind, samples 4 and 6 might be off limits too. While doing my own research last month, I caught wind of some exciting characters buried in these gene samples. But as soon as I started digging, I was told by people far, far above me to stop. Very odd, but not surprising, I suppose. AE, Abstergo Entertainment, has a lot of active military contracts, and I assume these had something to do with that. I didn't push back. As far as my own, if anyone is interested, my great-grandfather was friends with Hemingway and Stein and Satie and Picasso when he lived in Paris in the 1920s. No action-packed adventures there, but historically interesting, just throwing it out there. P.S. Chris, is our lunch meeting on-site or off? Okay, so still to everyone, back from Olivier. Yes, as much as I love the Lost Generation, I think our first few virtual experiences will need to be a little more action-orientated, so wars and major combat operations are always a good starting point, or any periods of intense conflict, really. As for pirates, ninjas, and zombies, we could easily accommodate the first two, but zombies are a bit, how do you say, ahistorical? Too bad, really. Yeah, maybe tell Konami that. Who's this from now? Christopher Darby. My great-grandmother, for instance, worked alongside Eamon de Valera and Michael Collins for many years during the Irish War for Independence, so it wouldn't be difficult to sequence that small segment of my own genetic memories for our purposes. Olivier. Actually, there is a factual basis for zombies, or zombification anyway. Read Hurston's book on Haiti. and the strange voodoo practice there. It may not be Hollywood-style zombie magic, but it's creepy nonetheless. In Liberation, Aveline came into contact with voodoo Hungans. If we dug further into that, I wonder what we could find. Her mentor, Agate, was into some weird stuff. Kale, offsite. There's a new vegetarian place I want to try. I'll bring the spec sheets. They're already printed. So I think Aveline is a DLC thing that we might get around to. Okay, so now from Karma Neron. Sorry to be a dissenter, but couldn't we be using this technology to educate, not placate? I mean, theoretically, we have all of human history to explore, all of our achievements and brightest moments. So it's a little disheartening to hear we need to focus on wars and conflicts and violence. It's not that I'm against violence per se, it's just that violence isn't terribly interesting in bulk. That's all. There's so much more nuance to life, and I think we could explore that. So what if we found the memories of someone who worked with Albert Einstein in his patent office, or Charles Darwin on the Beagle, or Marie Curie in France, moments where humans showed their very best potential? So from Evan Dean, okay, come on. Until oily, humorless university professors start paying us 8-figure fees to research the reification of normative gender signifiers in pre-colonial India, why don't we stick to shit that sells? I'm talking Jack the Ripper in Victorian London. Yeah, I think I played that game too. I'm talking about guillotines, Robespierre, and Napoleon Bonaparte in the French Revolution. I'm talking about Billy the Kid and Wyatt Earp in the wild American West. I'm talking about Genghis Khan and the Mongols killing a city of millions in the span of a long summer weekend. Action, blood, adventure, conflict. Because we're not going to earn back 1/10 of the money we have poured into reliving the memories of the guy who sat next to Einstein as he bit his nails while working on the finer details of general relativity in his head. For fuck's sake, this is a business, not a group therapy session. And lastly from Olivia. Evan, let's take this offline. OG. Alright, well.
Sneaky bastard, through and through, ain't ya? Get down to the lobby. There's a courier waiting. Yeah, that's right. I've been planning this for a few hours. Now, wait. The receptionist. Hold on. I'll try something.
No, we can't just go back this way. Isn't that going to be a bit weird? So the bathroom there and don't. Hey. Okay, later.
As gullible as ever. Now, hurry down to the lobby before I remotely detonate your...
Can I hack this? Can. Alright. Why don't we do this? These ones, okay. So... Oh, yeah. Ah, damn it. Ah, nuts. This is yeah, those ones that go like that, little tricky. Okay. Shit. Okay, we got that. So, what have you been looking at, receptionist lady? Huh. That looked a bit weird. Oliver Bowden. Okay, so, Chapter 3. The Old Shillelagh, a tavern halfway between Hatherton and Bristol. A regular haunt of mine, and sometimes, in the summer, when mother and father toiled over the shearing at home, when I'd have to make more regular trips into town, then several times a day. I admit I hadn't taken much notice of her at first, which is unusual for me because I like to pride myself on knowing the exact location of any pretty women nearabouts. And besides, Shillelagh wasn't exactly the sort of place you expected to find a pretty woman. A woman, yes, a certain type of woman, but this girl I could see wasn't like that. She was young, about my age, and she wore a white linen coif and a smock. Looked to me like a domestic. But what made me aware of her wasn't her clothes, it was the loudness of her voice, which was quite in contrast to the way she looked. She was sitting with 3 men, all of them older than her, who I recognised at once. Tom Cobley, his brother Seth, and Julian somebody, whose surname escaped me, but who worked with them. 3 men with whom I had traded words, if not blows, before. The kind who looked down their noses at me because they thought I looked down my nose at them, who liked me no more than I liked them, which was not a lot. They were sat forward on their stools and watching this young girl with leering, wolfish eyes that betrayed a darker purpose, even though they were all smiles, banging on the table, encouraging her as she drank dry a flagon of ale. No, she did not look like one of the women who usually frequented the tavern, but it seemed she was determined to act like one of them. The flagon was about as big as she was, and as she wiped her hand across her mouth and banged it to the table, the men responded with cheers, shouted for another one, and no doubt pleased to see her wobble slightly on her stool. Probably couldn't believe their luck, pretty little thing like that. I watched as I let the girl drink yet more ale, with the same tumult accompanying her success, and then as she did the same burst before, her hand across her mouth, and with even more pronounced wobble this time, a look passed between them, a look that seemed to say, "The job is done." Tom and Julian stood, and they began in their words to escort her to the door, because "You've had too much to drink, my lovely. Let's get you home, shall we?" "To bed," smirked Seth, thinking he was saying it under his breath, even though the whole tavern heard him. "Let's be getting you to bed." I passed a look to the barman, who dropped his eyes and used his apron to blow his nose. A customer sat down the bar from me, turned away as I appealed to him with my eyes. Bastards! Might as well have looked to the cat for help, I thought. Then with a sigh, banged down my tankard, stepped off my stool, and followed the Cobleys into the road outside. I blinked as I stepped from the darkness of the tavern into bright sunlight. My cart was there, roasting in the sun, beside another one that I took to belong to the Cobleys. On the other side of the road was a yard with house set far back, but no sign of farmer. We were alone on the highway, just me, the 2 Cobley brothers, Julian, and the girl, of course. "Well, Tom Cobley," I said, "the things you see on a fine afternoon. Why, just you and your cronies are getting drunk and getting a poor defenseless young woman even drunker." The girl sagged as Tom Cobley let go her arm and turned to address me, his finger already raised. "Now you just stay out of this, Edward Kenway, you young good-for-nothing. You're as drunk as I am, and your morals just as loose. I don't need to be given a talking to by the likes of you." Seth and Julian turned as well. The girl was glazed over, like her mind had turned in for the night, even if her body was still awake. "Well," I smiled, "loose morals I might have, Tom Cobley, but I don't need to pour ale down a girl's throat before taking to bed, and I certainly don't need 2 friends to help me at the task." Tom Cobley reddened. "Why, you cheeky little bastard. I'm going to put her on my cart, is what I'm going to do, and take her home." "I have no doubt you intend to put her on your cart and take her home. It's what you plan to do between putting her on the cart and reaching home that concerns me." "That concerns you, does it? A broken nose and a couple of broken ribs will be concerning you unless you mind your own bloody business." Squinting, I glanced to the highway, where trees bordering the dirt track shone golden green in the sun, and in the distance was a lone figure on a horse, shimmering and indistinct. I took a step forward, and if there had been any warmth in my manner, then it disappeared now, almost of its own accord. There was a stillness in my voice when I next spoke. "Now you just leave that girl alone, Tom Cobley, or I won't be responsible for my actions." The 3 men looked at one another. In a way they'd done as I asked. They'd let go of the girl, and she seemed almost relieved to slide to her haunches, placing one hand on the ground and looking at us all with bleary eyes, evidently oblivious to all that was being discussed on her behalf. Meanwhile, I looked at the Cobleys and weighed up the odds. Had I ever fought 3 at once? Well, no, because if you were fighting 3 at once, then you weren't so much fighting, you were getting beaten up. But come on, Edward Kenway, I told myself. Yes, on the one hand it was 3 men, but one of them was Tom Cobley, who was no spring chicken, about my father's age. Another one was Seth Cobley, who was Tom Cobley's son. And if you can imagine the kind of person who would help his father get a young girl drunk, well, then you can imagine the sort of person Seth Cobley was, which was to say a maggoty, underhand type, more likely to run away from a fight than with wet breeches and stand his ground. And what's more, they were drunk. On the other hand, I was drunk too. Plus they had Julian, who, going on, which is all they had, could handle himself. But I had another idea. That lone rider I could see in the distance, if I could just hold off the Cobleys till he arrived, the odds were likely to shift back in my favour. After all, if he was of a good character, the lone rider was bound to stop and help me out. Well, Tom Cobley, I said, you got the advantage over me. That's obvious for anyone to see. But you know, I just wouldn't be able to look my mother in the eye knowing I'd let you and your cronies abduct this pretty young thing. I glanced up the road to where that lone rider was getting closer. Come on then, I thought, don't hang about. So, I continued, even if you end up leaving me in a bloody heap by the side of this here road, and carry that young lassie off anyway, I'm going to have to do all I can to make it as difficult for you as possible, and perhaps see to it that you go on your way with a black eye and maybe a pair of throbbing bollocks for your troubles. Tom Cobley spat, then gazed at me through wizened, slitty eyes. What, are you just going to stand there talking about it all day, Edward Kenway, or are you going to attend to your task, because time waits for no man? He grinned an evil grin. I've got people to see, things to do. Aye, that's right, and the longer you leave it, the more chance a poor lassie has of sobering up, eh? I don't mind telling you, I'm getting tired of all this talk, Kenway. He touched Julian. How about we teach this little bastard a lesson? Oh, and one more thing before we start, Master Kenway. You ain't fit to shine your mother's shoes, you understand? That hit me hard, I don't mind admitting. Having someone like Tom Cobley, who had all the morals of a frothing dog and about half the intelligence, able to reach into my soul. If my guilt was an open wound, then stick his thumb in that open wound and cause me even more pain, well, it certainly firmed up my resolve, if nothing else. Julian pushed his chest forward and with a snarl advanced. 2 steps away from me, he raised his fist, dipping his right shoulder and swung. And I don't know who Julian was used to fighting outside taverns, but somebody with less experience than me, that's for sure, because I had already taken note of the fact that he was right-handed, and he couldn't have made his intentions more obvious if he tried. The dirt rose in clouds around my feet as I dodged easily and brought my own right up sharply. He shouted in pain as I caught him under the jaw, and if it had just been him, the battle would have been won, but Tom Cobley was already upon me. I just saw him out the corner of my eye, and it was too late to react, and I was dazed by the fist that slammed into my temple. I staggered slightly as I turned to meet the attack, and my fist was swinging much more wildly than I'd have liked. I was hoping to land a lucky blow, needing to put at least one of the men down to even up the numbers, but none of my punches made contact as Tom Cobley retreated. Plus Julian had recovered from my fist punch with alarming speed and now came at me again. Put my glasses on there. Sorry about that. He swung and his right hand connected with my chin, spinning me about so that I almost lost my balance. My hat fell off, my hair was in my eyes, and I was in disarray. And guess who came in with his boots kicking? That worm Seth Cobley, shouting encouragement to his father and Julian at the same time. And the little bastard was lucky. His boot caught me in the midriff. Already off balance, I lost my footing and fell. The worst thing you can do in a fight against 3 men is fall. Once you fall, it's over. Through their legs I saw the lone rider up the highway, now my only chance at salvation, possibly my only hope of getting out of this alive. But what I saw made my heart sink. Not a man on a horse, a tradesman who would dismount and come rushing to my aid. No, the lone rider was a woman. She was riding astride the horse, not side saddle, but even though it was lady. She wore a bonnet and a light-coloured summery dress, and the last thing I thought before the Cobley boots obscured my view and the kicks came raining in was that she was beautiful. But beauty wasn't going to save me now. "Hey," I heard, "you 3 men, stop what you're doing, right now." They turned to look up at her and removed their hats, shuffling in line to hide their sight of me, who lay coughing on the ground. "What's going on here?" she demanded to know. From the sound of her voice I could tell she was young and, while not highly born, definitely well-bred. Too well-bred, surely, to be riding unaccompanied. "We were just teaching this young man here some manners," rasped Tom Cobley, out of breath. "Exhausting business it was, kicking me half to death." "Well, it doesn't take 3 of you to do that, does it?" she replied. I could see her now, twice as beautiful at first thought, as she glowered at the Cobleys, who for their part looked thoroughly mollified. She dismounted. More to the point, what you doing with this young lady here? Pointing at the girl, who still sat dazed and drunk on the ground. "Oh, ma'am, this is a young friend of ours who has had too much to drink." The lady darkened. "She is most certainly not a young friend. She is a maidservant, and if I don't get her back home before my mother discovers that she's absconded, then she will be an unemployed maidservant." She looked pointedly from one man to the next. I know you men, and I think I know exactly what has been going on here. Now, you will leave this young man alone and be on your way before I am of a mind to take this further. With much bowing and scraping, the Cobblies clambered aboard their cart and were soon gone. Meanwhile, the woman dismounted and knelt down to speak to me. My name is Caroline Scott. My family lives on Hawkins Lane in Bristol. Let me take you back there and tend to your wounds. I cannot, my lady, I said, sitting up and trying to manage. I have work to do. She stood. I see. And did I assess the situation correctly? I picked up my hat and began to brush the dirt from it. It was even more battered now. You did, my lady. Then I owe you my thanks, and so will Rose when she sobers up. She's a wilful girl, not always the easiest of staff, but nevertheless I don't want to see her suffer for her impetuousness. She was an angel, I decided then. As I helped them mount their horse, Caroline holding on to Rose, who lolled drunkenly over the neck of the horse, I had a sudden thought. Can I see you again, my lady, to thank you properly when I look a little more presentable, perhaps? Okay. She gave me a regretful look. I fear my father would not approve, she said, and with that she shook the reins and left. That night I sat beneath the thatch of our cottage, staring out over the pastures as the sun went down. Usually my thoughts would concern either the possible escape or wrestling with the inevitability of my future. That night I thought of Caroline Scott of Hawkins Lane.
Me out. My tracks are covered. Yours ain't.
Caroline Scott. I don't think we've heard that name. Have we?
Did you like the allongé? I practiced.
I think you pulled it a little too long.
Oh, come on. It's not encrypted code, for God's sakes. It's just a bloody coffee.
That's it? No more chat? Giving up already? Yeah.
Oh, hooray! It's our old friend.
Not
Hey
that
there,
old.
I just got a call about picking up another transfer.
Oh? You said you were here to see me.
Yes, that is one of the perks. Let's see it. A conference in Chicago. Very nice. Thanks for this. We'll be in touch.
Ciao, Rebecca.
Who's we?
Stuff it, Hastings.
Yeah, unlucky Hastings. Shouldn't be such a douche. So, we got level 2 now, right?
Very well.
Yeah, I'm not...
It's my temper tantrum there. You are with the good guys, I promise. We're safe.
Yeah, I'm not
Trust me. Go on
sure
back to work. We'll be in touch.
we're friends here, buddy. Well, yeah, I shouldn't really say buddy, should I? Ooh. Ah. Sticky note 11. Remember that our relentless, impertinent hollow drive to achieve everything our forebears did has led to many embarrassments and disasters. Nuclear weapons. Many embarrassments and disasters, nuclear weapons, superviruses, genetically modified poison food, toxic air, plastic sea wreck, and sea spawn, and the list goes on. You can look it up for yourselves on the internet. But all this too had a secret purpose in the end. Right. Can I not hack this? I can. Okay. Yeah, one of these ones, yeah. So let's do it like that. Yeah, good. There we go. That's weird, those ones, huh? You just wasn't really looking at the numbers, it was more just feel, really, I guess. Okay, can't move it or anything. Okay. Hello? Anyone want to... How much coffee is in there? How small are your sips? Alright, well... Whatever. Let's see if there's any other number 2 doors down here. Are there any sticky notes down there? No, it doesn't look like it. So we've been in there.
Did you see that detail out front this morning? Once. Well...
Alright, so I think we'll have it. So I think that's number 3 here, isn't it? Can we talk to you? Okay. Yeah, that's number 3. Okay. So let's go have a look, see if we can open up the... Yeah, I'm going to my Animus. If we can... Any other doors on our floor. So, yeah, okay, it's kind of straight ahead, so I was wondering if there'd be a way we could go left or right. So we've been in there, we haven't been in here. Wait, have we got some... I think there are computers in here now. Should we try and... Can we hack these? Okay, this one's easy enough.
I have now resumed the practice of dressing as a man, and have put off my woman's dress.
Why did you take it? Who made you take it?
I took it of my own free will, with no constraint. I prefer a man's dress to a woman's.
You made an oath, Jeanne. You swore to never again dress as a man.
I never meant to swear that I would not resume the practice.
Why have you done so?
Because it is more lawful and suitable for me to return to the practice of wearing a man's dress, being always among men, than to have a woman's dress. I have resumed it because the promise made to me has not been.
How is he?
Hour 3, doing well.
Are we still in 18th century Hungary?
No. His connection is so stable, he's jumped between a few ancestors today. We're in 15th century France now. Turns out he's related to one of Joan of Arc's executioners.
Surprise.
Eileen, yesterday Vidic asked me to help him work out some of the bugs in his audiovisual renderer, and I told him...
No. Come on, Satish, not you.
It wouldn't be permanent. A few months at most.
Months? That will kill every ounce of momentum we have.
It won't, I promise. Honestly, I think this could help us. If I can get a look at what these people are doing, we could...
Come on. He's trying to pull you over to his side. Don't you see that? He's luring you with quick victory and prestige.
That's not what this is about, honestly.
I need to get back to work.
Eileen, I'm sorry.
Do what you must. I'll survive.
Surrogate Initiative, Test Session 32, April 2nd, 1981. Host Eileen Bach, DNA sample SV1970.
Miriam, are you awake?
What?
Miriam, they're coming for me.
Oh, the guards?
I see them from my window, amassing in the courtyard. My time is up.
Bartle, don't say this. You don't know that.
Forgive me for this, Miriam. But I must tell you something. The artifact. We have it. But only Oscar and I know its location.
Don't tell me.
They will release you. Your family has connections. You must take the artifact and bring it to the assassins in Paris.
Please don't. I don't want to know. It's safer if I don't.
Hush now. If I die, knowledge of its location dies with me. You must bring it to the assassins.
Assassins?
I know it's you.
Sorry, you just sound exhausted. Did I wake you?
No, I've just been busy.
It sounds like it.
I'm just a little tired, that's all.
No, I mean, your project sounds fascinating. Your colleague, Dr. Warren Vidic, he called me recently and he told me what you've been up to.
He what? Warren?
Yeah, he told us about your research, memories, ancestry, all that. He even asked if we'd be willing to come in and...
No! Jesus, no! What the hell is he doing?
Eileen, it's okay. We signed some papers, non-disclosure stuff.
No! He's trying to fuck me over. Damn it!
Eileen, we just talked about my mother, just like you and I did. World War II. That's all.
It's the artifact.
The what?
Carl, if he calls you again, you tell him you work through me, okay? That's it. Vidic has been a pain in my ass for years, and I don't need him getting all the glory for my 2 years of hard work.
All right. So how should I go about this? I mean, the wheels are in motion.
I don't know. Just go through me if he contacts you again. Please?
All right.
You'll do that?
Of course. Yes.
Thank you, Carl. I'm sorry I was short with you. I've just been exhausted. That's all.
It's all right, hon. Just take care of yourself.
Morning, Eileen. We're almost ready. Just a few more adjustments.
Okay.
I had the team do some research on this art chasing, and it appears the Third Reich actually found something matching its description sometime in 1940. Eileen, are you all right?
Sorry, yeah, I'm fine. Just a little scattered. Vidic called my ex-husband last night. He wants to put him in the Animus.
To find the artifact before us?
Exactly.
Well, it would be faster using Vidic's Animus. And maybe that would get us back to our original work.
Satish, if we let that happen, then all our money dries up. Lillian is paying for us to find the artifact, not improve our methods. Do you understand?
Right, of course.
I'm sorry. Let's just burn those bridges when we cross them. Are we ready?
Yes, just a few more adjustments and you're in. I made a small change to the genetic input modulator. I'm hoping that buys us a few more minutes.
Even a few seconds would be nice. I'm ready.
All right. Settle in.
Well, that was weird. Yeah, this is kind of the problem when you so many games in a series that they're all kind of loosely linked together. I think. I mean, I'm sure there is a well, how it is, I don't know, but I'm sure there is like an underlying overarching story that's linking these games together. But I mean, I played this one and I played. The one set in London, and you know, and like when I play anything, you know, I like looking at all this stuff. I don't rush through it. I have a look around, try and find things like this. And if you're gonna release so many games, it's got to be a really tight story. You know, it's really got to be very well done. It's really not, you know, all these things, all these people are coming up, and I'm reading them, and I'd like to know what's going on, but I think you probably have to really, really play all of them together to get any sort of feeling of where this is going. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe more will come out of it. So, sticky note 5. The machines we made shaped us in turn and took hold of our impulses and our minds, small as they are, and gripped us like an iron maiden bleeding us empty. It was our poor understanding of our origins that led us to originate tools we were incapable of understanding or controlling, as if the cotton gin was not enough and one day our sweaters and undershirts might talk to us, as if this were not enough. Yeah, one of these ones. Right, yeah, okay. one of history's most overlooked leaders, Madeleine Delisle, freed hundreds of slaves and brought them to sanctuary in a tropical haven whose construction she oversaw personally, brutally cut down at the peak of her career by Aveline de Grandpré, the orphan she rescued from a broken home. Madeleine served as Master Templar in the southern colonies from 1764 to 1777. The abolitionist. Okay. Okay, Subject 17, Phase 1 report. This surveillance video, possibly captured by Erudito or another group, is labeled New York /USA /USA 2012. Well, either the 1st of September or the 9th of January at 2 minutes past 4 in the morning. The accompanying chat transcribed was labelled Kidnapped, data transcript level 3. Can someone ask Chase to make sure his men use more professional language going forward? So tower grid, blah blah blah, UTC, blah blah blah. Outgoing transmission, caller ID, private interference. Yes sir, pause. We have him. Reply scrambled. Yes, shoving him in the van as we speak sir. Target will be delivered on schedule, transmission ends. Okay, surveillance video labeled Brooklyn, USA, same day. A little later, the poster claimed Abstergo agents have captured an unknown Caucasian male. Victim is in his mid-20s, approximately 6 foot tall, 190 pounds, destination unknown. Okay, this one's labelled Ciampino, Italy, same day, about 16 hours later. The poster identified this only as unmarked hangar, but then went on to say Abstergo agents arriving at destination, company-owned jet brought to hangar after landing, victim identified as Desmond Miles. I don't think this has spread too far yet. Location has already been scrubbed, so I think we can dismiss this as ravings of a fanatic. Preliminary analysis. A leaked medical file, we're looking into it. No menstrual disorders from Subject 17, though. That must have been a relief for the public to read. Patient has no active complaints, no acute distress, no prior cardiac history, no blood pressure normal, 112/78, primary blood analysis, no significant traces of chemicals that would lead to neurological disorder, no indication that patient would be prone to neurosis. Unlike previous subjects, patient is psychologically stable. You are cleared to proceed. Signed by Damien Saravakos, MD on... okay, so it's going to be the 3rd of September. And that's the same writing in there. Okay, have you seen this man? Desmond Miles. I haven't. Guess a lot of other people have. That wasn't a sticky note. No, okay. It's kind of going the other way this time, okay. How many ancestors do you have? How many of their secrets are locked away in your genes? And how many of their stories are you willing to share with the rest of us? Welcome to the fascinating world of genetic memory retrieval. We here at Abstergo Entertainment are now poised at the precipice of this exciting new frontier, technology and science that will change the way we view the past and live the future. In the coming year, we'll be opening studios all across the world dedicated to a single purpose, collecting and archiving the stories locked away in human DNA. And we need your help. We're looking for courageous men and women to donate their genetic materials to our historical research teams and help us remake history. Donate today, so join us, Abstergo Entertainment, where the past is our playground. We did this one, right? Yeah. Was there some more here? No, did that one too. Okay, I think we got them all. Except that one.
Our researchers looked into the life of Altair Ibn Lahad, hoping to find a biography that might serve as a positive role model for Abstergo's global outreach programs. Unfortunately, this renegade assassin proved no such thing. In much of his footage, we see a man gleefully flouting some of his culture's most entrenched taboos, with an arrogance that borders on messianic.
Altair, no! This is not our way! To burn a man's body is forbidden!
Many of our researchers felt that the arguments articulated by Altair's rival, a man known as Abbas, were clearer and more cogent than heard from Altair. I recently put in a request that more effort be dedicated to locating one of Abbas's descendants, if any exist. It's clear to us that Altair's transgressions were the primary motivation behind the ultimate dissolution of his despicable order by the middle of the 13th century. We therefore strongly recommend a pass on this property, in favor of a more agreeable and inspiring figure from this era.
I think that was the first game, wasn't it? First or second, maybe? I don't know. I gave them a shot. I don't know. It was a bit before I was really into this type of game. Really, it wasn't my thing. Okay, I think we got everything in there. I've been in there too. Yeah, that's number 2.
Minutes after loading it up, security was at my desk.
Is that what happened? I saw them asking a question.
Yeah. I confiscated my Animus key, and now my position here is under review.
Are you kidding? That's scary.
Alright, so clearly someone's got a vested interest in what's going on here. I mean, there's got to be a front, right? This whole thing. Hey, Can I get that post-it note over there? No. Okay. Ooh. That's not my Animus, right? No. Well, that went well. Olivier, this is the initial presentation I received. It's a little light on facts, but these guys know what they're doing. We'll know more when they arrive on Monday. Let me know if you feel like attending. John. Why now? Why wait? Why Bloom? As the world's foremost innovator of high-tech, high-performance communications and security technology, Bloom stands poised to reshape the way we think about information security architecture, ISA. Specializing in everything from mobile telephony to home computing to digital imaging processors to network security systems, we take great pride in the fact that we helped create most of the markets we now dominate. And nowhere is our expertise more apparent than in our flagship product CTOS, a groundbreaking proprietary security software operating system. So, what is CTOS? Confidential. Privacy is security. Integral. How do we ever do business without it? Accessible. The touch of a button. Available. We're everywhere, all the time. Stable. It just works. Put simply, CTOS is the most stable and user-friendly software security controller ever devised. Can it bestow to pass up to perfection? The CTOS dream. The Bloom promise. A dozen cities, 100 major corporations, 1,000 small businesses. For almost a decade, CTOS has served its clients' need with a track record unparalleled in the modern age. How do we do it? Durable, ultralight HD cameras, ultra-speed fiber optic networking, proprietary facial recognition software, multiple fail-safe data centers, cloud-compatible intelligence sharing, 24-hour customer support and service. In short, we have everything Abstergo needs to protect its unique intellectual property and more. The future is in bloom. We look forward to working with you. Yeah, nice pitch. That's ours, right? Yeah, okay. So have a quick look around, see if there's anybody else we can hack. Hey guys.
Stolen?
Do we go this way? No, we didn't, did we? Because there is a post-it. Sticky note 3. Being that it is well understood that tools, homes, cars, cutlery, pencils, tables, books, chairs, domesticated animals, light bulbs, mobile phones, sex toys, vacation homes, sofas, lounge, chairs, swimming pools, and C&C are indirect byproducts of our genotypic expressions, otherwise known as extended phenotypes we submit. Alright, yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing, yeah. Okay. Nuts. Ah, didn't see that one little one at the end there. Oh man. Oh boy. There we go.
Okay, hope this is on. I don't think I've ever used this phone more than a few times to record anything. Hey, Dad. So, we're all here in New York at the motel. It's Queens, actually, in Astoria, near the NQ. Rebecca's off getting batteries for something. Sean's in his room doing whatever Sean does. And, you're out getting some food. Me? Well, I'm supposed to be getting ready to break into some offices in the financial district. Feels just like prepping for one of your old training drills, actually. 10 years go by, and then you show up, and it's like I was never gone, and we're right back to the ball busting and the conspiracies and the paranoia. Only this time, I believe you. I believe every word. You know, I don't even think you know the half of it. I don't think you know how much I've seen, how much I've learned in just a few weeks. Everything, really. I feel like I've lived 1,000 years, or 10,000 maybe. It's impossible to explain. But when you see that much of the world through the eyes of so many, you can't help but be sad. And to see all these incredible, intelligent people fight the same battles, make the same mistakes over and over again. Because culture and knowledge and history, these things, they aren't passed on through our genes. Every kid on Earth needs to relearn the basics. How to live, how to survive, how to stand up for what's right. So much is lost in the transfer. So much is added every generation. It's a shame. I mean, over and over, everything must be learned again. I met Clay, Dad. Clay Gesmerick, in the Animus. I knew him by his Abstergo handle, Subject 16. My predecessor. And he showed me things. He passed them to me just before he died. Or got deleted or whatever. Everything he'd learned, everything he'd seen. God, how do I talk about this? So, guess you trained him. Huh? After I left, he really looked up to you, and now that I've seen through his eyes, I think I understand why. I'm glad you had him around, even if I wasn't there. The things he showed me. Unbelievable things. And I never... Shit. Alright, I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, so it's like, well... Okay, well, you get a bit of feel of it, but how is that? Because these aren't our genes, right? That we're diving into. These are subject 17s. So I mean, how does this relate to me, to us? What? Oh, that went a bit quicker than I wanted. That looks like our bird from the synchronized points. That looks like the coffee guy. Don't know who that is. Yeah, looks nice. Okay. Yeah, well, that looks like the coffee guy and Melanie. Don't know about the other ones. That's Kitty. Okay. I think we hacked all these, didn't we? Yeah. Okay, so that's looped us back around. I think we might be done with the hacking then. Or not. What does this do? Yeah. Lets us win. Antikythera mechanism, originally assumed to be an analog computing device built for the purposes of determining the future positions of astral bodies, Abstergo Industries scientists have recently discovered that the Antikythera mechanism is merely one small portion of a much larger tool, a so-called prognostication machine, thought to have been used by the first civilization to make probability-based predictions of future events. It has been confirmed, for instance, that our precursor race used such a device in conjunction with their inherent precognitive abilities to locate and contact Mr. Desmond Miles, the source of the sample 17 strand, okay, for purposes that should remain classified. It is also known that due to the nature of these quantum probability measurements, that such machines would have been exceedingly difficult to use, and that many hundreds of thousands of trials would have been needed to peak such great distances into the future. So, okay, so people from the past have contacted the guy from the future with all the memories to tell him what? Baghdad Battery, a mystery that has puzzled scientists for decades. The Baghdad Battery's ultimate secret has finally been discovered. This year, researchers at Abstergo Industries determined that these batteries contained at one time a synthetic precursor element capable of producing power by harnessing energy generated by the passage of time. Eerily similar to what theoretical physicists have called time crystals, this unknown crystalline material was able to generate tiny but unlimited levels of energy simply by siphoning energy from the passage of time itself. Though minute, the resulting power was likely enough to power a small LED, resulting in a humble but incredibly efficient means of producing light. To date, a functioning precursor time crystal has not been located. Little is known about the function of these blood vials, though dozens have been found since Abstergo took an interest in their recovery at some point in the late 1980s. To date, only 3 have been found with their original contents intact, and of these, only 1 contained a confirmed sample of precursor DNA. Abstergo Industries executives have expressed a particular interest in locating more precursor DNA and, if possible, samples of our so-called mitochondrial Eve. As far-fetched as this sounds, please take special care to identify any vials you might stumble upon in a memory replay. Unfortunately, as the average half-life of DNA is a mere 500 years, any sample old enough to belong to either source, 80,000 years or more, will have degraded well beyond usefulness. We suspect it would require a minimum of over 250 similarly preserved samples and a hell of a lot of luck to sequence their entire precursor genome, though the true figure is probably closer to 500. So that's the glass cube things that we saw. Crystal skulls. These ancient tools have been found on a few separate occasions at alleged precursor sites throughout the world. All are communication devices to some degree, although 3 distinct varieties have been discovered so far. The first crystal skulls worked much like the mobile telephony devices we use today. These allowed multi-node communication between all who possessed a working device. A second crystal skull was later discovered to have record and playback function, meaning a user could record and send audio-visual messages to multiple parties as frequently as he saw fit. A third set of crystal skulls discovered only recently seem to have acted as passive monitoring devices, much like televisions in a multi-camera surveillance system setup. As yet, the cameras on the opposite end of this setup have not been found. It is unclear why these communication devices were designed to resemble such a macabre piece of anatomy, but we have no reason to suspect that our precursor race, as intelligent as they were, didn't occasionally fall victim to gaudy fashion. Memory seals. These devices, powerful in function but limited in scope, were used by the precursor first civilization to record brief memory impressions, which could then be played back or re-experienced by another user at a later date. Judging by their scarcity, fewer than 40 have ever been found or accounted for. It appears these seals were not wielded casually by the precursor race, but were intended for use by only the wealthiest and most powerful members of that society. To date, no seals containing recorded precursor memories have been found, and only a few have been known to contain any information whatsoever. The seals used by the assassin Altair ibn Ahad to pass memory information to Ezio Auditor da Firenze are suspected to be functional to this day, but as of this writing their whereabouts are unknown. As a point of interest, it can be revealed that many of Abstergo's early breakthroughs in genetic memory technology came about through close study of these artifacts, although current Animus technology is not based on their architecture. Voynich manuscript, I found a load of those in, where was that? It wasn't Kingston, was it? Was it Havana? A fascinating puzzle as yet unsolved. We are deeply interested in finding the person or persons responsible for the creation of this magnificent and mystifying tome. All researchers assigned to European subjects living in the 15th and 16th centuries should be advised to pay special heed to any mention of this rare and valuable artifact. The recent carbon dating has given the manuscript a birth date of 1405 or thereabouts. Abstergo Industries has uncovered highly classified information that complicates this theory greatly. One subject of great interest to us in this endeavour is the English philosopher Roger Bacon. Okay, he's still working. There, we've already been out here. Yeah, we've already done that. Okay. Alright.
3 times between the parking lot.
Okay, team. So here's what we're going to do. Let's get back into the fun world.
I've an awful feeling about this. You'll be hurt out there. I couldn't handle that.
I'll be careful, I promise. And when I'm flush with coin and set up, I'll send for you. I will.
Caroline, come away! Don't ignore
Caroline.
I can't promise I'll come, Edward. If you leave on this fool's errand, I cannot promise anything.
Don't give up on me, Caroline.
So that's the rider on the horse, right?
I need your faith the most.
Nassau, Bahamas, July 1718.
Putting some shape to your sentiments?
Just a short letter home. I reckon she's past caring anyway.
Oh, you're a hard heart that should be softer.
Or soft in parts that should be hard.
And how is it you're so keen for his hard parts, Mr. Rackham?
You'd like to know my secrets, would you?
Oh, aye. Give me a small hint, like. Or a large one, if you're an upright gentleman.
Open your hand.
Oh.
Who's shooting?
Might be them ships sliding in.
Jesus.
Oh dear. Well, that doesn't sound good. So we should probably check that out next time, eh? Take it easy, guys.